Good morning. It's Jane. I'm a social worker and a yoga facilitator, and I've been asked to talk about grief. So we're going to start with a breath and then we'll get into the topic. So let's together breathe in for 4 through the nose, hold it at the top for 2, and blow out for 6. Using the breath as that intermediary between mind and body to invite us into the present moment. And you might think, why do I want to come into this present moment with a broken heart? And the answer is because the only way to the other side is through that broken heart. Grief is, loss is universal, unavoidable part of living life. Grief is that experience connected with that loss that was initially taught to us as stages of grief, and we now know that the stages are not linear, so you go through stages and then come back and start over again. And we know that the experience of grief can feel like a sucker punch into the belly, that it is so overwhelming. It's as if we're riding the wave of life and we lose our footing. If you have experienced grief like this and you've shown up here today, you know what I'm talking about. So I speak to you having experienced profound grief. So I bring that, but I don't bring that much more. Yes, I'm a counselor. Yes, I'm a yoga facilitator. But I'm here to normalize your experience and invite you to keep breathing, keep showing up for yourself in compassion to your grief, because it's something we all go through, and in order to show up in that next minute, we have to say yes to our grief. We have to say yes to our grief and create heat in our hands and bring our hands to our heart, to our belly, in deep compassion for the grief that we're experiencing. We have to say yes to grief. Grief, my friends, can be not just for loss of a loved one, a child, a parent, a sibling, a friend. It could be for loss of an ability. So the ability to see, the ability, a limb, the ability to hear as well. It could be a loss of, if you're a singer, losing your ability to sing. So grief shows up. It could be grief from a tsunami. It could be grief of climate change. We go walking and we notice the change in the path where we are walking and we feel grief. To be human means to know grief. So I welcome you to this present moment in deep compassion of knowing that what is our ultimate goal, and it is to eventually find ease with what is. So living on this planet with this loss. Living on this planet with this impending loss. So for you who are showing up here today, preparing yourself for someone that you know that is on their journey of dying, if you are showing up with your own vulnerability to death and dying, welcome to this present moment. Welcome to living now. Welcome to finding increasing ease to living now, despite and or because of your grief. We want to work with our grief in both body and mind, and so all of this talking are messages from the mind down into the body. But we also want to send messages into the body of sitting with this pain and saying, okay. So you might be sitting or walking, or you might find yourself lying down right now and bringing your hands to your belly. And I'm going to close my eyes to see what this might feel like. How sad I am over this loss. How can I let my back body, my spine on the ground or sitting here be my strength, and my soft heart center, my soft front, holding it in compassion. Where does the grief live in your body? Can you meet that pain with deep acceptance and compassion? Every breath a new breath. Every day, a new day of showing up with what is on this planet and choosing acceptance of your grief. Saying it, this is grief, and knowing, and I'm holding myself and I'm rocking with this idea that this is universal. Loss is part of living. We are alive now, and I'm raising my hands up to the sky. My fingertips, there you go, are open, and my heart is open. How activating this is in this moment. And yet I say yes to life in this moment. And I'm bringing my hands back to my heart and belly, and I'm recognizing that the memories that I have, so in my case of the loss of a loved one, are within me, and they cannot be taken from me. So every breath I take is in honor of that loved one. May their memory be a blessing. And as your thoughts take you away to maybe regrets, might you do some work with that? Might you journal if there are any regrets and ask for forgiveness? And my friends, forgive yourself. None of us get it perfect. None of us get it perfectly. I brought a book over, Living When a Loved One Has Died by Earl Grollman. It's really short little teachings around grief. So this is when a loved one has died, but I suppose, so that's what I bought, and I worked with it every single day, and it was very helpful. I also brought over a scarf, and I thought, what am I going to do with this? But I was inspired to, throwing something on top of your head in this moment of grief, and sort of knowing that the loss, whether it be of a person or something else, the higher calling. So we put something on our head to remind us that the spirit within us, I'm going to put this down now, the spirit within us, it's calling us to sit with what is, with increasing grace. This is what is happening. So my friends, welcome to this moment of your pain. Welcome to this moment of a settling in of your pain as you meet yourself with deep compassion. I don't think I have that much more for you, except to say I've been there and I got through it, and I'm a changed person for living on this planet, transformed by grief. The only way to the other side is through. May the memory of your loved one be a blessing if you have lost somebody. And if you are in this journey, stay true to that self of life and living, and honor yourself. Death is part of life. Find grace. Namaste, my friends.